Hello, everyone. Welcome to Krishna Co. And we do it online. It's called Virtual Closeness. Thank you guys for joining us. I'm here with my guru, Jivananda Das Vanachari. I'm really excited for all of you guys. I think we have about 6 of you here with us. Dr. Freddie, Dr. Elijah, Gabby, Radha, myself. Thank you guys for coming out. I'm sure more will join. Tonight's topic of discussion is loving effectively.
Wow.
All right, Gurudev, it's all yours.
Thank you so much, and thank all of you for joining. It's a pleasure as always. We're talking about loving effectively. So what does that mean? You may be wondering. What's he driving at? So let's talk about what does it mean to be effective. If you take out an insurance policy, it's not effective until you pay the premium. So when you pay the premium, then the policy becomes effective. So things are like that. They become effective at a certain point, meaning that, and here's the definition by Webster. Effective means productive or capable of producing a result. So something is effective when it's producing a result, when it works. Effective means producing a striking impression or impressive. It means actual rather than theoretical or real. So effective means it's real. It's now real. It was once theoretical, but it's now become effective. It also means adequate to accomplish a purpose, producing the intended or expected result. Also, it means in operation or in force, functioning operative. It's functioning. Something is functioning, it's working when it's effective. It also means producing a result that is wanted, having an intended effect. So we certainly would like our love in our life to be effective, wouldn't we? Not theoretical or hypothetical or anything but effective. We want love to be effective. So we're going to explore that. Before we go on, I also had to check out to see what Webster says about love. Some of this you'll giggle at. It's kind of funny.
Mm-hmm.
Some of it makes a little bit of sense. So Webster says, love is strong affection for another rising out of kinship or personal ties. Sounds a little weak, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
You're my cousin. Gee whiz, I've never met you before, but gee whiz, guy, I love you, you know? Well, can that really be true? And we'll cover that later on. It also means attraction based on sexual desire. Boy, have we all heard of that. Affection, tenderness felt by lovers. So in other words, something to do with the physical. I love you because I see you inspire me sexually. And if we inspire each other sexually, then the tenderness that's felt by us is called love. That is really not a good definition of love. And we see that in the material world, so many relationships are based on sexual attraction, sexual affection. And these things change in time. They just do. Sexual desire, sexual affection is generally something we see in some physical attribute the person has. But in time, these physical attributes will change. Old age will see to that, and so many other things. Also, the object of attachment, my love, the object of attachment, devotion or admiration. A beloved person, A beloved person is my love. I could say that. So we're not doing very well on the definitions as far as I can see on love. But here Webster goes into one that sense. Unselfish, loyal, and benevolent concern for the good of another, such as the fatherly concern of God for humankind, brotherly concern for others, or a person's adoration for God. So finally, Webster came up with something that makes some sense. So this adoration for God, let's talk about that. And since we have such a small group, we can open it up to questions and discussion. So, of course, we always do that, but how can we have adoration for God when most people don't know very much about Him? So how can you adore somebody, someone that you don't know? Does anybody have any suggestions about that? How is that possible?
I think Freddie may have something to say. I'm not sure.
Are you able to hear me?
Yeah.
Yes. Can everybody hear me okay? Well, I was thinking a lot about the different religious practices, and usually people love the Lord's messenger. Like it's not unfamiliar to hear, that Christ loves you or that Jesus loves you, and so I see, a lot of people have a profound love for the Lord's messenger, and I think in our Krishna conscious movement, we generally have a very profound love for Krishna because we are stimulated through all of our senses by his beauty, and so that's what I think, and that's kind of like the comments I wanted to make to share with the group.
Good observation. And that's true. We Vaishnavas, we are involved in personal relationships with God. In other words, we know what he looks like. He has so many different forms, and we know so many of them. Some devotees, they find their attraction in Sri Gaura-Nitai, Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda. Some prefer their relationship with Krishna. Doesn't mean that they don't have an attachment to Gaura-Nitai. Some Lord Nrsingadev, Lord Jagannath, it could be whomever. But my point is that there is some personal conception of God. Not only that, but we know so much from Krishna book about his attributes, his pastimes, and his personality. You can't love someone unless you know enough about them to know them personally. What is their personality like? What is their persona? So the devotees of Krishna, the Vaishnavas, have a tremendous advantage in loving God simply because we know more about him. You see, we know we know what he likes to eat. We know what he doesn't like to eat. We know what he likes to do. And we know about his loving, affectionate, joking personality. You see, we know the personality of Lord Nrsingadev. Lord Nrsingadev is always ready to protect his devotee. So we see that heroic personality in Krishna, Lord Nrsingadev. Krishna killed so many demons, and he's like giving us the realization of a true, original, real hero. You see, he comes to save the day. He likes to do that. Krishna likes to be the hero. That is obvious if we read about his pastimes. So we know so much about Krishna that we can become much, much more affectionate, much more attracted to him, and much more comfortable with him. We have a tendency to fear the unknown. So we remove the unknown, we remove the fear. So people fear God, but they don't know God. If you know the personality of Krishna, what's fearful about this Krishna? What's scary about Krishna? Unless you're Kamsa or some demon or something like that. But Krishna is just not a scary guy. Even Lord Nrsingadev is not scary to the devotees. Think about that. Lord Nrsingadev killed Hiranyakasipu and his whole army. And then here's Prahlad, his devotee. He's standing there with a garland, wanting to give him a garland and offering prayers. See? So it's like in Mayapur when the curtains open for Lord Nrsingadev. And they open the big doors and you look at Lord Nrsingadev in Mayapur. He's very ferocious. Ugra Nrsinga. He's ready to pounce. But nobody goes, nobody's afraid. Everyone's like, Lord Nrsingadev. You see, the devotee would go hug him if they could. So why are we not afraid of this ferocious form of Lord Nrsingadev? Because we know his mind. We know that he's our protector. And so we can develop some love and affection. So, but getting to know God, this is not that easy. That's a big undertaking. What to speak of loving him effectively? How do we get to know God? You see, you can't love him unless you know him. How do you get there? So Krishna is going to tell us, going to give us some tidbits about that very thing. So I'm looking at Bhagavad Gita chapter 10, and we're going to talk about verses 10 and 11. And again, stop at any time with questions or comments. Krishna says, Tesham satata yuktanam, vajatam priti purvakam, ami buddhi yogam tam, yena mam upayantite. Krishna is saying, to those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give them the understanding by which they can come to me. Let's think about what he's saying. You don't have knowledge of me. You don't have understanding of me. You don't understand where I am, how to find me. You know practically nothing about me, except that I'm great. God is good. God is great. Let us thank him for our food. But Krishna says, for those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give them the understanding by which they can come to me. So one may question, gee whiz, there's the catch right there. Krishna is saying, you got to be constantly devoted to serving me with love. So that's tough because I'm used to going to church once, twice a week, the synagogue, or this place, that place. But I'm not constantly devoted to going to church, or I'm not constantly devoted to reading the scriptures or actually serving God. So that's the catch, you see. He says he'll give me the understanding by which I can come to him, but he makes it like impossible, right? How do you do that? So therefore, we're going to talk about bhakti yoga, described in the Sanskrit word buddhi yogam, the dami buddhi yogam tam. So Prabhupada says in this verse, the word buddhi yogam is very significant. We may remember that in the second chapter, the Lord, instructing Arjuna, said that he had spoken to him of many things. and that he would instruct him in the way of Buddha Yoga. Now, Buddha Yoga is explained. Buddha Yoga itself is action in Krishna consciousness. That is the highest intelligence. Buddhi means intelligence, and yoga means mystic activities, mystic elevation, mystic perfection. So Buddhi Yoga is the highest. It's also known as Bhakti Yoga. Buddha Yoga, Bhakti Yoga. So how do we perform this? What does this mean? Krishna says or Prabhupada says, when one tries to go back home, back to Godhead, and takes fully to Krishna consciousness in devotional service, his action is called Buddha Yoga. In other words, Buddha Yoga is the process by which one gets out of the entanglement of the material world. So let me pause right here. By practicing this Bhakti Yoga, Buddha Yoga, it will get us out of the entanglement of this material world. Therein is the big challenge to serving Krishna constantly. Krishna says, constant devotion. I want constant devotion through your love. So the only reason we might have a doubt that we can do that is because we know, at least subconsciously, I'm kind of entangled in the material energy. Well, I have so many things that I have to do. I have my job, and my job is tough. It's very challenging. I have my hobbies. I have these things that I like to do, and so I'm used to, as a religious person, living my life and then going to church and thinking about God a little bit, you see. And so that's okay if you want to get to a particular level. If you want to go all the way to God, how does Krishna phrase that? He says, I'll give you the understanding by which that you can come to me. So now, if you actually want to go to Krishna, you want to achieve Krishna, then you've got to have this full-time, constant, devoted service to God. So this means that in the practice of Bhakti Yoga, that we do what we do as an offering of love to Krishna. You see, every thought we think, every word we say, every action we do as an offering of love to Guru and Krishna. So you can work your job. No one says quit your job, but do that as an offering to Guru and Krishna. Meaning that if I'm thinking that I'm doing what I'm doing as an offering to Krishna, I'm not any longer doing it for me. So I'm not motivated by my own pleasures or my own advancement. Excuse me. So, or my own advancement in material situation. I'm concerned in demonstrating my love for Guru and Krishna. You see, so I may go to work and do the same thing that I've done always before I became a Krishna conscious devotee, but I'm doing it now as an offering of love to Krishna. So that's a big difference in consciousness. How is that? When we do something as an offering of love, when you add love as the ingredient to what you're doing, or the reason behind what you're doing, it changes how you will do it to the level that you are loving the person that you're doing the activity for. In your mind, in your estimation, you can never do it perfectly, right? Because you want to do it as nicely as possible for them. You see, it's like if you're going to cook something for Your mother, if you're going to prepare something nice for your mother on Mother's Day, well, you may struggle real hard to get the right ingredients and to work real hard to get it nicely prepared. So you're going to cook something for your mother or for someone, your grandparents, or someone that you really, really love, and you're going to make it better for them than you would for yourself. So, and I've used the analogy before, it's like if you have some loved ones coming over, some people that you're very fond of, very close to, you love very dearly. If they're coming to your house for a big dinner, you're going to prepare a big dinner for them. So you may go out and get the very best ingredients you can find, and you're going to work real hard and make them a wonderful meal. And so you're going all out. In other words, this is not a normal meal. You're going to do something extraordinary to show them your love. Now, if they call a few hours before you start your preparation and they say, something's come up, we can't make it, let's do it another time. Maybe we'll do it in a couple of weeks. So are you going to go ahead and prepare that wonderful feast for yourself? Most people would just make themselves a sandwich. You see, so if it's for me, then I'll put X amount of love in it. If it's for someone that I love, I'll do it much, much better. So when we bring love of Guru and Krishna into the picture, we're going to strive much harder to do whatever it is, working our job, being a person. What kind of person do you want to offer to your Guru and Krishna? See? So you're going to be very, you feel like I have a responsibility to please my beloved. And so I'm going to try my best to do as good as possible. So Prabhupada says the ultimate goal of progress is Krishna. People do not know this. They don't know that. A lot of people will say, well, I practice religion because I want to go to heaven, or I don't want to go to hell, or maybe both of those. I want to avoid hell by going to heaven. So that's why Prabhupada says people do not know this. The object of religion is to achieve God. You want to find and achieve coming to God. Krishna is promising just that very thing. I will give you the understanding. If you love me, I'll give you the understanding by which you can come to me. He doesn't say, I'll give you the understanding by which you can achieve the heavenly planets, or which you can go to heaven. You can come live in my abode. No, he says you can come to me. So this is very interesting. This is the prize that Krishna is offering. If you offer him love and devotion, the prize is him. You see, why? He knows that you really want him and nothing else. And he really wants you and nothing else. So this practice of bhakti yoga is important in our training to someday be close with God, to be with him. You see, we have to learn this art of offering what we do to Krishna. Let me give you, for instance, in the spiritual world, there's all sorts of I can't remember the name of them. Trees, Kalpavriksha trees, Chintamani trees. They will give you anything you want. If you go there still self-motivated, wanting to do for yourself first and foremost, you're going to work those trees giving you good things for you. So in other words, you don't belong in Krishna's home, Loka Vrindavan. You would be misusing the resources there that are there to serve Krishna, by serving yourself. So we need to practice this bhakti yoga, yoga of love, by getting used to offering what we do, what we say, uh, everything to Krishna, because that is the natural position of us, eternal living entities. That's what we do. We serve Krishna. It's not just a one-sided unilateral relationship in that Krishna is just taking, you're giving, but he's the only one taking. No, Krishna is giving so much. It's not like it's not like he doesn't share anything. He shares everything. He shares all the resources. If you give him some nice prasadam that you get from the Chintamani tree, he's certainly going to share it with you. You see? So this sharing, reciprocation is an activity of love. It's what lovers do. They reciprocate. They surrender to one another. One should know that the goal is Krishna. And when the goal is assigned, then the path is slowly but progressively traversed. And the ultimate goal is achieved. Now, that's a guarantee because Krishna is giving you the guarantee. This isn't a guarantee that you might get from the internet. If you buy this product, it'll take away this pain that you have. This is a guarantee from the source of everything. It's a guarantee straight from Krishna. If you constantly love me with love and devotion, and you're serving me in that mode, then I'll give you the understanding by which you can come to me. So he is the destination. He makes that clear. You can come to me. And the path is slowly but progressively traversed. How? By serving Krishna. So knowing what the goal is, the exact goal is tremendously important. Your destination has to be known before you can pick a path. If you don't want to go have a loving association with Krishna, then bhakti yoga is not for you. If you want to go to heaven and enjoy the riches of heaven, take another path. Find somebody who says, this is what you get. If you follow our path, whatever it may be, the guarantee is that you won't go to hell and you'll come to heaven and you'll enjoy tremendously. So problem is, that's only a temporary fix to the problem of material life. As we all know, those who go to the heavenly planets only get to stay there until their spiritual bank account runs out. They have to come back here and start all over again. Prabhupada goes on, when a person knows the goal of life, but is addicted to the fruits of activities, he is acting in karma yoga. So when you know the goal of life, but you're addicted to the fruits of your activities, that's karma yoga. When he knows that the goal is Krishna, but he takes pleasure in mental speculations to understand Krishna, he is acting in jnana yoga. And when he knows the goal and seeks Krishna completely in Krishna consciousness in devotional service, he is acting in bhakti yoga or buddhi yoga, which is the complete yoga. This complete yoga is the highest perfectional stage of life. Some people may say, I don't think so. I disagree. I'd rather go to the heavenly planets or achieve some mystic yogic potency. To that we can say, is there any way I can talk you out of that? So we have to present Krishna as he is, the real Krishna, the loving relationship that we're developing with Krishna, and let them know there's another choice. should you choose to go that route. But you have to take a different path. Achieving some yoga mysticism, and the world is full of that. Many people want to practice yoga because they want some of the mysticism that comes along with it, or at least that they perceive they can have by practicing. It's most of the yoga that's practiced by most people in this Kali Yuga is done for sense gratification. I want to feel better. I want to look better. I want to look better and I want to feel better. So if I look better and I feel better, that's got to have a positive impact on my sex life. So I'll look better, more attractive to me and to other people who see me. I'm going to feel better. I'll have a better attitude. So attracting a sex partner is going to be easier. So yoga can do that for you. I'm not just disagreeing with that at all. However, if you're looking for effective love, you've got to have an effective lover or an effective recipient of your love. So, and that is Krishna. Krishna is the most effective. So, I see Adon has joined us, and Jagdish from Knoxville is here. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Gabby, I forgot to say hi to you. So, let's go on. Prabhupada says, a person may have a bona fide spiritual master, and he may be attached to a spiritual organization. But if he is still not intelligent enough to make progress, then Krishna from within gives him instructions so that he may ultimately come to him without difficulty. The qualification is that a person always engage himself in Krishna consciousness, and with love and devotion, render all kinds of services. He should perform some sort of work for Krishna, and that work should be in love. If a devotee is not intelligent enough to make progress on the path of self-realization, but is sincere and devoted to the activities of devotional service, the Lord gives him a chance to make progress and ultimately attain to him. So, Prabhupada is saying that even if you have a bona fide spiritual master, you're initiated, effectively, you're deputized devotee of prayer. If you still don't have, and he mentions, and attached to a spiritual organization, but if you still don't have the intelligence to understand how to follow the instructions, or the intelligence to understand Scripture, then if your heart is right, Krishna lives up to his promise. I will enliven you or enlighten you from within so that you can come to me. In other words, you don't depend on this separate from having a religious organization or instead of having a guru. No, he's saying if you have a bona fide guru and a bona fide spiritual organization, but you're still not intelligent enough to make progress, then Krishna from within gives you instructions so that you can ultimately come to him without difficulty. So Krishna overcomes any difficulty. Are there any questions before I go to the next questions or comments? Okay. Krishna says, yeah, Hare Krishna.
Sorry, I was muted, and then I had a question. I didn't hear you for the last couple of sentences as well. How Krishna gives us intelligence when we're not able to get connected with Guru.
He is saying, Prabhupada is saying, even if you have a bona fide guru, and you're attached to a spiritual organization, bona fide spiritual organization. But if after having guru and a bona fide spiritual organization, if you still don't have the intelligence to come to Krishna, to understand, you've done everything right, and your heart is obviously in the right. So Krishna says that from within, I personally will give you instructions on how to come to me. So Krishna will give you instructions from within. As I said, this is not a substitute for guru and a religious organization. It's if you're so sincere that you have pursued initiation, you have guru, and you have a bona fide spiritual organization. But if you still can't understand, then Krishna's guarantee is, from within, I will give you the instruction. Does that make any sense?
Yes, definitely, Prabhu. This is so important for me at least. You see, I'm not in touch with you regularly, and also, I use my experience since I've been going to Bhagavad Gita and my previous spiritual experience to make decisions. It's absolutely a must. I guess we have to look up some words in Bhagavad Gita to make some decision, which is going to help us, I guess.
Yeah. But Krishna says, even if you have a bona fide guru and you're going to Bhagavad Gita class, going to Srimad Bhagavatam class every day, and if you still aren't understanding, then he will instruct you from within. There's no loss or diminution. You just try your best to love him and perform service in love and devotion. And he will see that you achieve it. That's his guarantee. Krishna goes on in the 11th verse. He says, Tesham ivan kampartam aham agyana jantama nas asayami bhavasto jnanadipena bhas. Krishna is saying, to show them special mercy, I, dwelling in their hearts, destroy with the shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance. Ignorance meaning lack of knowledge. We don't know about Krishna. I'm looking for something that I know nothing about, so I'm ignorant about Krishna. But he says, because that's your desire and you have steadfast determination in that direction, I will show you special mercy. I, dwelling in your heart, destroy the shining lamp of knowledge, darkness born of ignorance. I'll take away your ignorance. Ignorance is removed by knowledge. Darkness is removed by light. So Krishna will see to it because he's dwelling in your heart, and he can tell you, he can give you instructions from within. God is always giving you instructions. He always has been. But we're not able to hear. You see, as we make spiritual advancement, we get to the point where we actually can understand this is Krishna working. Now, it may take us a while to figure that out. Sometimes there are challenges in life. And the challenges just don't make any sense. Why could this be happening? This is bizarre. Things that are. Then we can understand, oh, my dear Krishna, this is you. I can see that this is you. You're doing this. Why? Because you want to bring us closer. You're looking for me to take more shelter. So, as this knowledge of Krishna grows, the darkness of ignorance is pushed away. And Krishna says that he can do that from within. Now, he'll do it from without and from within at the same time. Factually speaking, do we have the intelligence to fully understand this science of God? Even though we may hear it from a qualified speaker of Srimad Bhagavatam, we have maybe some partial potency. If we simply have the desire, Krishna will provide what we lack. He'll carry what we lack. See? He'll give it. He'll fill in the blanks for us. See? It's not expected for us to be able to do this on our own. So, Prabhupada says in the purport, when Lord Chaitanya was in Benares, promulgating the chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Thousands of people were following him. Kasananda Swami Saraswati, a very influential and learned scholar in Benares at that time, derided Lord Chaitanya for being a sentimentalist. Sometimes the Mayavadi philosophers criticize the devotees because they think that most of the devotees are in the darkness of ignorance and are philosophically naive sentimentalists. Yes, we see that. Many times the Mayavadis, I can remember debating with them, and they kind of have a holier than thou attitude. Well, your understanding of liberation is like kindergarten. You don't know the ultimate truth. The ultimate truth is to go merge into the Ram Jyoti, which is the same thing as merging with the Supreme Godhead or becoming God. So they see that why would you want to serve God? Why would you not want to go merge with God? Actually, you are God already. You just have to come to that realization. Go through the merging process. So they are missing the loving aspect of your relationship with God. They're missing your loving aspect with anybody. If I'm going to be liberated into the impersonal Brahman, which is possible, we're not saying it's very possible. But if you get there, where will you find love? There's no question of loving effectively because you have merged into the light. All the other living entities there, they've done the same thing. So how can you interface? You see, who will you exchange love with? You will become very peaceful. You'll get all the shanti you want, but no love, no realization of love. Same is true for the Buddhists. The Buddhists are saying, and it's real, you can achieve by certain practice, you can achieve nirvana, nirvanic liberation. And that's true. Nirvana is, of course, void, nothing. So it gives you the same thing that you get in the Brahmjyoti. Shanti, you get peace, which most troubled souls in this material world are really looking for. Everyone wants some peace from this. You can see from the challenges that we experience with disease and old age, poverty, and whatever. What are the threefold miseries of life? Anybody name off the threefold miseries?
I know them. They are miseries caused by nature or the demigod's influence of nature, miseries caused by other people, and the ones you cause yourself.
Yeah, caused by your mind. It's Adidevaka Klesh. Klesh is means misery, trouble. And there's Adidevaka, which is caused by the demigods, acts of God, they say. There's adibodhika. Adibodhika flesh is caused by other living entities. Mosquitoes, snakes, people. So we have so much trouble from acts of God and acts of other living entities. And that causes a disturbance in our mind, adhyatmika flesh. So it's a disturbance within the mind. So how can you not want peace? So you are actually primed for this. Come to my house and we'll give you shanti, we'll give you peace. So, and it's true, you can go there and you will get peace. Lord Buddha does not make the promise that you will get love of Godhead or love. The Mayavadis don't, they're not promoting love. Everybody seems to be promoting peace. So, and the Mayavadis, because they don't understand this loving relationship, and they're affected by the three modes because they're wanting to achieve some union in that they want to merge with the Supreme Godhead. They're somewhat, at least somewhat, materially motivated. So they can't understand that Krishna is the highest object. You see, they just want peace, and it's an easy sale for people that are disturbed and want peace. It's an easy sale because everyone in this material world is disturbed and bothered and desiring some peace. The Mayavadi philosophers criticize the devotees because they think that most of the devotees are in the darkness of ignorance and philosophically naive sentimentalists. Prabhupada says, actually, that is not the fact. There are very, very learned scholars who have put forward the philosophy of devotion. But even if a devotee does not take advantage of their literatures or of his spiritual master, if he is sincere in his devotional service, he is helped by Krishna himself within his heart. So the sincere devotee engaged in Krishna consciousness cannot be without knowledge. The only qualification is that one carry out devotional service in full Krishna consciousness, offering your thoughts, words, and actions to Guru and Krishna. The Mayavadi philosophers think that without discriminating, one cannot have pure knowledge. For them, this answer is given by the Supreme Lord. Those who are engaged in pure devotional service, even though they be without sufficient education and even without sufficient knowledge of Vedic principles, are still helped by the Supreme God, as stated in this verse. So even if you're engaged in devotional service, even though you may be without sufficient education or without sufficient knowledge, Krishna will help you. Will still help you. This does not mean that you don't go to class and that you don't study and that you don't try. That would mean that you're not sincere. Okay? If you are sincere, Krishna will help. You will make a lot more advancement in your path back home, back to Godhead, from Krishna's direct instructions than anything else. Now, Krishna gives you direct instructions in different ways. Who knows? What ways does Krishna give you direct instructions? Anybody?
Guru Sadhu Shastra.
Guru Sadhu Shastra. Yeah. Exactly. So Krishna is giving you direct instructions, but he's making the promise that even if you don't understand the Guru and Sadhu and Shastra, then if you're sincere and you're serving me with love from within, I will give you what you need to fill in the blanks. So this is very important. The Lord tells Arjuna that basically there is no possibility of understanding the supreme truth, the absolute truth, the supreme personality of Godhead, simply by speculating. For the supreme truth is so great that it is not possible to understand him or to achieve him simply by making mental effort. The Gyan yogis will argue with you. They'll say, no, we can speculate and we can argue back and forth through our speculation. Ultimately, we will get enough knowledge that we will know God. That's forbidden. You will not do it. They may say, but what if there's at least a chance that through our accumulation of knowledge through speculation, even a small chance of achieving God, isn't it worth it? Fact is, you don't have a chance. There is no chance. You're not going to just sit around and speculate and stumble across God. It doesn't work that way. Some people try to cheapen God. They try to cheapen finding God by thinking, I can speculate my way. That's very unfortunate. Man can go on speculating for several millions of years, and if he's not devoted, if he is not a lover of the supreme truth, he will never understand Krishna or the supreme truth. Prabhupada makes that very clear, doesn't he? Prabhupada goes on, only by devotional service is the supreme truth Krishna pleased, and by his inconceivable energy, he can reveal himself to the heart of a pure devotee. The pure devotee always has Krishna within his heart. And with the presence of Krishna, who is just like the sun, the darkness of ignorance is at once dissipated. This is the special mercy rendered to the pure devotee by Krishna. Due to contamination of material association through many, many millions of births, one's heart is always covered with the dust of materialism. But when one engages in devotional service and constantly chants Hare Krishna, the dust quickly clears, and one is elevated to the platform of pure knowledge. The ultimate goal, Vishnu, can be attained only by this chant and by devotional service, not by mental speculation or argument. So there are many people who like to argue. This is kind of a material one-upsmanship. Let's get together. You give me your philosophy. I will defeat it with my philosophy. Are we really trying to help each other find God? Or are we just trying to compete with each other? This is like people go, they pick up sports because I want to win. I want to beat the other guy. We want to beat the other team. We want to win the Stanley Cup, win the trophy. So this is tainted by material consciousness. Prabhupada goes on, the pure devotee does not have to worry about the material necessities of life. He need not be anxious, because when he removes the darkness from his heart, everything is provided automatically by the Supreme Lord, who is pleased by the loving devotional service of the devotee. This is the essence of the teachings of Bhagavad Gita. By studying Bhagavad Gita, one can become a soul completely surrendered to the Supreme Lord and engage himself in pure devotional service. As the Lord takes charge, one becomes completely free from all kinds of materialistic endeavors. This doesn't mean that you go to the Himalayas or off into the woods or into the desert and just be. That is not what this means. Some people misunderstand what's being said you become completely free from all kinds of materialistic endeavors. You're still endeavoring, but you're endeavoring to please Krishna. You see, your endeavors, instead of selfish desires, become loving desires to please Krishna, to make Krishna happy, which makes you extremely happy. So your endeavors are no longer material, they're spiritual. This Prabhupada says, let me read this a little bit again. The pure devotee does not have to worry about the material necessities of life. He need not be anxious, because when he removes the darkness from his heart, everything is provided automatically. Because Krishna is pleased by the loving devotional service. So, what's Prabhupada saying here? Does that mean you should, well, I've become a devotee and I'm really good at chanting my rounds, I'm following the process, I'm reading a lot. Does that mean I don't need to have a job? I can just sit at home and Krishna will send me like a stimulus check every month? Doesn't mean, that's not what he's saying. You will still endeavor. However, Krishna is seeing that your endeavors will get what you're endeavoring for. I need to pay my household bills. Krishna will help you. Krishna will give you whatever potency you need to serve him with love and devotion. You may say, I need a certain amount of resources to serve Krishna. I need a house. I need to feed myself. I need to clothe my family. Krishna will see. You make the endeavor out of love and devotion, and Krishna will see that you're successful. But there is no doubt. No doubt. Prabhupada says this is the essence of Bhagavad Gita. Understand this. The difference between us and the gopis is that the gopis are fully convinced that they fully depend on Krishna. Now, there are other differences between us and the gopis, but the chief difference is the gopis know they have nothing but Krishna. They're fully dependent on Krishna, and that's all they want. They simply want Krishna. So Krishna says, if you do like this, serve me with love and devotion, then I will see that you come to me. So the gopis are already there. They're with Krishna. And they fully depend on Krishna. They know they fully depend on Krishna for everything. And they are the most happy and most pleased of all living entities. So, are there any questions or comments at this point? Jagdish, you look like you're about to say something.
Yeah, you said Krishna will give us resources to his devotion, or for our living, right, Prabhu?
Yeah.
So what if he really gives more and more? Like, I had a friend who says, the more we get and the more we stock, is it good? Like, is it ethical for us to hold on to so much of wealth?
Well, some people want wealth to serve Krishna. And if that is the desire in our heart, then there's a strong chance that Krishna will give you that wealth. If in fact I want it to serve Krishna, I want to open a temple. It's like the
Yes.
early devotees. Prabhupada sent some devotees to London. I think it was 1968, something like that. And they had nothing. They had no resources. They barely could get their way to London. And so They were desiring to open a temple. And it moved very quickly. In a very short period of time, the devotees were able to find the temple and improve it, decorate it properly, and get Radha Krishna deities. It's a very interesting story. You should read about it. So,
Yeah.
so Krishna gave the resources. He gave great resources. See, a lot of people would say it's not likely, or some people would say it's almost impossible. Or some young people who had only been devotees for a year or so to go to London and accomplish what they did. Not only that, but they met the Beatles. And the Beatles, they funded the Radha Krishna album. George Harrison paid for the printing of the Krishna book. So wealth was coming to the devotees. So what is the limit of wealth that Krishna will give you? It's limited by your desire to serve him. But on the other hand, I say, well, I'd like to serve Krishna a little bit, but basically I just want to be rich. Well, you're kind of on your own. But good luck. Go work hard. And maybe you'll be successful. You might have the karma to carry you to wealth. But it's not going to give you spiritual enlightenment, spiritual advancement. If you just make it and keep it all to yourself. Does that make any sense?
Yes, Prabhu, definitely. That is my goal. Whatever the extra we earn in our family, and really, in fact, I wanted to do this. I opened up an organization last year, but I could not do it. I had to stop the nonprofit, and now my future goal is to do nonprofit with my brother. Definitely build a temple. It did not happen last year. Hopefully, by your blessings, we can do this in Tennessee or somewhere in a very good place. We were all set actually.
You have my blessing.
Thank you, Prabhu. I think that will work. And also another blessing is, please bless us that, Krishna does give us knowledge through our heart for any situations that we come across.
Well, he's made the promise. Let's hold him to his promise. Dear Lord, I'm going to try my best to serve you with love and devotion. I want you to do as you said. Enlighten me from within on how to love you, how to serve you. I want to do it. And so you promised that you would. So please give me your promise. Krishna has already given the blessing in Bhagavad Gita. Given the blessing in his promise. You love me constantly with love and devotion, and I'll give you everything. He says a similar thing in the 9th chapter. I'll provide what you. I'll maintain what you have. I won't lose anything, and I'll carry whatever you like. I will see you. So let's remember that, and once in a while we remind Krishna, dear Lord, I need your help. Please help me. Please help me what? Please help me to serve.
Gurudev, a couple observations here. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
It's interesting because as I'm reading Prabhupada's purport, he's giving us all these promises. He's saying, hey, look, the first one that I read here in front of me says that everything will be provided by the Lord. No problem. And then he says, I will take charge. But then it also says that we have to do the clearing and we have to remove the darkness. So there are certain things that Krishna is willing to do. No questions asked, but it's also dependent upon us doing the work ourselves. It's not like we can expect it and not do any work. So he's saying, you have to do the work. You have to remove the darkness. What's the process of doing that? What's the process of clearing? Through this chanting of Hare Krishna, through this process of devotional service. But he says that once you do that, then everything else is completely done by me. I will completely take charge. He says, as the Lord takes charge. So that's very reassuring to me, because it's no longer on my shoulders. He's promising that he's going to take charge. He's going to do it. It's beautiful.
If you make the endeavor, you make the serve him, and he will empower you as it goes along. He will empower you to be successful according to your constant desire to please him. See? If it's a heartfelt desire, he will empower. It's the greatest guarantee that you'll ever get. It's a guarantee from God. You make the sincere endeavor. First of all, you have to have the sincere desire. Then you make the sincere endeavor. Krishna will see that you're successful. Beyond the doubt. Beyond the doubt. So I'd like to, I want to compliment before I forget. I've been reading a little bit here and there, some of the preaching. Bhakti Elijah, your preaching, I think, the network is very good, very strong, knowledgeable, good. Your preaching is becoming very effective. Very impressed by your abilities. Another rising star we have is Dr. Chris. I'm seeing your preaching. It's enlivening. See your dedication and your devotion to preaching. Both of you are already experiencing this empowerment from within. See? We should never start thinking, I'm so wise that I've figured this out on my own. No. You have the endeavor, and Krishna will empower you as you go, as you preach. He will give you the words to say. If you're sincere, that sincere desire. And of course, Dr. Freddie, you've established yourself and continue to grow as an effective preacher. All of you are doing so well. Vinamata continues to go, even though he's a busy man. How's the house going?
It's going good. It's going really good. Yes.
Are you happy with the progress?
Yes.
Good. So he's in the midst of building a house, running back and forth and doing and having trying to keep his real estate business afloat, and keeping Krishna code. So he's doing service to the Guru. He's a busy guy. All of you are doing a fantastic job. Jagdish is working so hard and maintaining your advancement in Krishna consciousness. So all of you are doing very, very well.
Looking forward to your personal association soon, Guru Dave. We missed that for sure.
I'm looking forward to it as well. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know when we're going to be able to open things back up. Any thoughts? Any thoughts for me?
On when we'll be able to open back up?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I mean, I think we're waiting on the GBC to say something. And as soon as we get word from the GBC, I think that, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, is that kind of like the protocol? We wait until GBC kind of gives us a green light?
Precisely.
Okay.
Precisely.
Yeah.
They have resources that are studying this the threat of the pandemic. And the GBC they recommended when we should shut things down. And for the most part, For the most part, our ISKCON leaders are good leaders, and a good leader is also a good follower. See? So for the most part, ISKCON in North America, ISKCON all over the world, followed the local authorities, shut things down, acted in a very responsible manner. So we can depend on our GBC, our governing body commissioners, to give us the green light. When the GBC says, we think you can open things back up, you can have as many people as have a Sunday feast again, or have a festival. Now's the time. When they give us the blessing, then we make our move. Without that, we don't make our move. It would simply be rogue thinking, and we don't do that. That's Prabhupada never trained us to be that way. So we'll know when the GBC says, I've heard people say something about sometime in June, but that kind of sort of sounds like it might be a little bit of an aggressive prediction. I don't know if our temples are going to be open and functioning full speed until perhaps July or August even. I don't know. So I've heard June from a person or two, and I'm thinking, for me, from what I understand, that sounds a little aggressive. It would be nice. We certainly don't want to jump the gun. Otherwise, we could endanger our lives. So that's not good. So anyway, I'm looking very much forward to having all of your association as soon as possible. We can get together in small groups, perhaps between now and then. So that's the first step. We'll get together in smaller groups and have some personal association, because I long for it, and I know all of the rest of you do too. All right, I think we should wrap it up, folks. Thank you all so much for joining us again. It has been delightful as always. So, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Right.
Thank you so much, Guru Dave.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys. Bhakta Freddy, Bhakta Chris, Jagdish Prabhu, Bhakta Elijah. Thank you guys for coming out. Appreciate you guys. Once again, virtual closeness, a Krishna Cove experience. And we look forward to your association again on Thursday. We do this every Thursday, every Sunday at 5:30 p.m. Arizona time. And please join us. Bring your friends. And hopefully we'll have your personal associations very, very soon. In the meantime, let's continue to get really, really close virtually. Hare Krishna.
Hello, Prabhu.